कैमरे से स्टार्ट करवा दूं सिंगल स्कूल में
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are going to discuss on the coalition government is a better form of government in India. I have 4 participants to discuss. For the motion, I have Mr. Batal Remy of Arunachal Pradesh and Miss Badiar Dakhar of Meghalaya. And against the motion, I have to my right Mr. Padit Tiang of Arunachal Pradesh and Miss Meadow of Nagaland. I take this opportunity to introduce myself. I am Mr. Samir Debarma of Tripura as a moderator of the day. Once again, I welcome each and everyone for the discussion on the topic. And now I would pass to Mr. Badal Remte to point out his view regarding the coalition government is a better form of government in India, and his view may be expressed by him.
Thank you. Now, why I do support that coalition government should be in our country? Ours is fundamentally a country of diversity. So therefore, if there is a coalition government, it would cater to the needs of all the diversified regions and people of our country. And what we have to remember is unfulfilled regional aspirations many times lead to violent protest, violent movement, and eventually to terrorism also. We have examples, Northeast India, Jammu and Kashmir, in Punjab also in the past, this was the problem. And we also have to keep in our mind that our constitution and our policy making process seek unity in diversity. So diversity cannot be negated if our country has to develop, has to be a better country. So this much I would say, but then lastly I would say that the UPA government and even the present NDA government is a coalition government, and I would say that these governments have done very nice. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your opinion regarding the coalition government. Now I would invite Miss Meadow from the against the motion group to express her view in retaliation to my another participant from Arunachal Pradesh.
I feel that such government have the tendency to be fractious and prone to disharmony. This is because coalitions would necessarily involve 2 different parties with different beliefs, and who therefore may not always agree on the correct path for governmental policy, and often the decision making here may turn out to be dictatorial.
Yes, well, thank you, Ms. Meadow, for your opinion. Once again, I would invite my participant from Meghalaya, Ms. Badiar Dakhar, to express her view on regarding the coalition government is a better form of government in India or not.
Thank you, sir. Well, let us understand this way. When you talk about coalition government, we are talking about India. India is a land of diversity, and in such a land of diversity, we have to consider many aspects. So what actually coalition government can do is that decision can be, it's majority based. So this has to be considered in a coalition government. So in such a way, therefore, it represents a holistic viewpoint of all party concerned. So in a country like India, this is very, very important, I should say. And also, I think in a coalition government, it does not represent only views or ideologies of one party. It represents the ideologies of all. So that itself is very, very important. And it's not a one-man show party. So in that kind of a situation, India will be well served under a coalition government. So as the saying goes, two minds are better than one. So it goes very well, I thought, with a country like India, where coalition government I really support, and I wish that this government continue to be like this. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Dekar, representative from Meghalaya. Now, once again, I would like to invite Mr. Pradeep Tiang of Arunachal Pradesh to express his view.
Thank you very much for the opportunity. The topic which we are discussing on coalition government is a better form of governments in India, and I will speak against the motion. Although the coalition government is a popular government, I do accept, and it is also a conscious political based government. But even though there is a lukana and there is a full form of criticisms that I am going to focus on it here, that though we are following the largest democracy in the world, and in such form of governments, the coalition government is a wastage of time, and it is full of draining the exchequer of the central government as well as the state exchequer. Of course, the governments are formed by the majority of the party. But when the coalition government is taking place, it consists of many political parties and forms the governments. But here, the minority can also play as a kingmaker. It can play a kingmaker. So how it can be a better form of governments in India? Though we have a diversity, but the role played by the coalition party, like as we have recently what we have seen in the Karnataka, and recently we have seen in Arunachal Pradesh, and last election we have seen in Nagaland, how the states are, there are full possibilities of any time failure of the governments. Again, it leads to midterm fall or by elections, whatever it may be. So therefore, I conclude my against speech that I do not support coalition government, and I support the popular governments, which is fully elected by the representative in the parliament or as well as in the assembly of the state. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Badal, Mr. Paddy Tialang, for your opinion. Both the form of government, be a coalition government or a majority form government, it is a government of the people. where public representatives are the main key player in the formation of the government. India, a diversity, in the land of diversity, a land of diverse people. Coalition government would help to strengthen the regional aspect of the people of the mainland. So, my dear friends, thank you for sharing your opinions regarding the coalition government, and we will see in the days to come the function of the government, and the people are the main who will decide what is good and what is bad for their. Thank you for your participation in this program. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir.